Hey guys, nice to have you here. It's Cara from The Sleep Method. Today we're going to talk about personality and temperament, which is something that I don't think many people know about, and as sleep coaches, I don't think many sleep coaches actually use it. But it's really interesting because I've worked with hundreds of clients privately, and every time we talk about personality and temperament, and then we apply a method that is generally more suited to that temperament or that personality, we see a huge difference in the success around sleep. And what's interesting is a lot of parents come in with an idea of how they want to work on sleep, which is really important, very important we take that on. But sometimes it doesn't align with the personality of their little one. And I find that quite interesting. So for me as a coach, it's about trying to figure out a way that gives that parent what they need, but also gives that baby what they need as well. And this is particularly key. We look at two different things basically. My tea's really hot, I'm gonna pop it down for a minute. We look at two things. We look firstly at, we have high need infants, also called spirited or firecrackers, and then we also have our easygoing babies. Now, you might immediately know which one your little one is. I think it's quite hard in the early days to know that, and it might be that when you have a toddler, you really, you're going to see their personality. And don't get me wrong, personality comes out, all the time as they're growing and changing. But when it comes to sleep, there's a few things that we really want to look at to help us understand our babies more. So you might have a baby that's really clearly easygoing, or one that's really clearly high need, or one that's across the board. And in those instances, sleep can go any way. What we typically see with our really easygoing babies is that you can pick any sleep strategy you want pretty much, and it will probably be effective. This is great if you want to take a really slow approach or you want a really quick approach. It doesn't really matter actually. You just pick an approach and a strategy that's going to suit you as a family, suit your timescales and your needs, but also because your little one is easygoing, actually, if you get the 4 pillars right, which if you haven't watched, you can go back and watch lesson 1, which is all about the 4 pillars. You want to get those sort of locked in, and then you can pick any sleep strategy. And our easygoing babies are typically the ones that you can make smile quite easily. They are very adaptable in different situations. They're quite happy being with lots of different people. And they're just generally quite chilled. I think if you've got an easygoing baby. And I'll be quite honest with you, the clients I see, most of them don't have easygoing babies. Or what's even more interesting is they are actually easygoing, but they're really sleep deprived. And sleep deprived babies who are overtired, can actually seem really fussy and high need. And once we start getting them some sleep, they're actually really easygoing, and parents are like, oh my God, my baby's so happy and chilled. I thought they were high need, they're not. They literally just were tired. So actually don't be fooled by that fussiness. If you're thinking, oh no, I think I have a high need baby, they're quite spirited, they're very fussy. It might be that they're just overtired, or it might be their personality, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with our high need babies. I think high need is a terrible name. I much prefer spirited. My children are both quite spirited, so I know what it's like to raise spirited children. Our spirited little ones usually are a bit more sensitive actually, and they like you being around. They can be quite aware of you leaving the room. They're also quite happy to flit from one activity to another. So when you do have babies who are starting to grab things, and toddlers, you can see them like playing with one thing and then moving on to the next thing. Our more easygoing babies, they might sit there and play a little bit longer until they've figured out something. Whereas our spirited babies are like, can't do it, I'm not doing it, and they move on. But they also really, really thrive on routine, yet it's harder to put them in a routine. I've actually got a quiz that you can go and do, by the way, so you can figure out how much your baby might be easygoing, how high need they might be, and from there it even offers suggestions on sleep strategies that you can apply to your little one. So it's really interesting. You can head to the link below this video and you can have a little look and just see what personality your little one is. And I wouldn't worry about their personality. I think the key thing is actually to embrace their personality, learn as much as you can about them, and then sleep actually will feel so much easier because you can really hone in on sleep strategies that are going to suit your little one. Now, the biggest worry I think a lot of clients have is when sleep strategies they want to do don't mirror with what might work best for their little one. And in those instances, I'd recommend that you actually start doing what makes you feel comfortable first, work on those 4 pillars, and then you can always up the ante with sleep strategies. So for example, if you're heading back to work, you might want a really quick sleep approach, and I totally get that because you're on a bit of a time frame and you might be quite an impatient person. I'm incredibly impatient, and I like everything to happen like, you know, as soon as possible, basically. And that can be really frustrating if you have a little one who's quite sensitive, needs you around a lot more, and would actually benefit from a really slow approach to sleep. But likewise, you might want a really slow approach to sleep, but your baby actually is craving independence, and you being there, cuddling them, holding them while they sleep and being present is actually taking away from them going to sleep. So it works on both sides, and everyone kind of, you know, has a different opinion, but really what you want to do is just focus on doing what's going to be best for your baby and what's best for you as a family. And I'm going to say that a lot because I think there is so much out there that tells us we must do things a certain way and this is the only way. And in my experience, and I've worked with a lot of clients, every family is different, and you might use similar techniques, but they're all quite adaptable and they all tend to be adapted to that family. So I think it's really important to understand personality, temperament, how it fits into sleep. It's not the be all and end all of sleep. It's not a case of understanding the personality, cracking sleep, but it's one element that we look at when we look at sleep. You know, we look at a multitude of different elements when it comes to sleep, and one of them happens to be personality and temperament. And it's actually, I think, your secret weapon actually. The more you can understand it, the more it will help you when it comes to making decisions around sleep. So we have got a quiz. It's a really quick quiz. It will literally take you like 2 seconds to fill in. And you can just go through and you can you literally click on any of the sentences that apply to your baby. And if you don't know, don't sweat about it. It's not a big deal if you don't know how to fill it in, but you might say none of them are my baby, but it will give you a really good idea of how much of an easygoing baby your little one is, or how spirited they are as well. And that's always changing as well. You know, methods that work for 6-month-olds don't actually work for 18-month-olds. And it's because of their age, but it's also because personalities can change. Temperament wise, we are all born with our temperaments, apparently. So, but I still think personality and temperament develops a lot in those early phases, and actually, I don't think it's necessarily set at 4 months, for example. So, you know, you can be adaptable as you go through these different things. And if you've got 2 children, that's even harder, because I think you naturally think they're going to be quite similar, and it's really hard not to compare them, but they're so different. The amount of times clients come to me with their second baby and they're like, but they're just not like the first. And I know what that's like because I've got 2. And my daughter was so different to my son. It was only when I had her I realised how good his sleep was, but at the time I thought his sleep was absolutely horrendous. But you just don't know, you have nothing to compare it to. But it's really hard try not to compare your kids. And actually, if you've got more than one and they might be older, it doesn't matter, take the quiz, because then you can at least have a look and just see how their temperament and the personalities differ. So I hope you have enjoyed this, I hope it's been helpful. And I will see you in your next training. Take care, see you soon.